but officially it isn't. You know, it isn't. The structure hasn't been established as yet.
2012 also marks the 39th year of progress by the Bahamas as an independent nation. Significantly, this is the 283rd year of parliamentary democracy in the Bahamas. Reviewing all of the 7- and 5-year terms of parliament since 1729, the elections of 2012 will increase the number of general elections to be held in the Bahamas to 46. And that ends steps to parliamentary elections. I'm Elaine Ferguson. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Colon cancer is the third most common cancer affecting Bahamians. Your risk of developing colon cancer is increased if you have a personal history of colorectal cancer or colon polyps, a family history of colon cancer, or inflammatory bowel diseases such as ulcerative colitis. Other factors that can increase your risk of developing colon cancer are low fiber, high fat diets, a sedentary lifestyle, obesity, smoking, and alcohol. You can take steps to reduce your risk of colon cancer by making specific lifestyle changes. Eat a variety of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. These foods contain fiber, minerals, vitamins, and antioxidants, which may play a role in cancer prevention. Drink alcohol in moderation or not at all. Do not smoke. Exercise with a goal of getting in at least 30 minutes each day. If you've been inactive, start slowly and gradually build up to 30 minutes. Also, talk to your doctor before starting any exercise program. Maintain a healthy weight. If you're at a healthy weight, maintain it by combining a well-balanced diet with daily exercise. If you need to lose weight, ask your doctor about healthy ways to achieve your goal. Colon cancer screening can also help to prevent colon cancer or lead to its early detection when treatment is most effective. If you're 45 years or older, speak to your doctor about having a colonoscopy or some form of colon cancer.
The thought of colon cancer never really crossed my mind until 2019, when a very good friend of mine
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's.
Coming up in the news, proceedings in the House of Assembly continuing today.
From day one, this administration made it clear that we were committed to delivering on the changes we promised.
Also, supporters of the Progressive Liberal Party welcoming ratified candidate Kingsley Smith. And police launch a search for 2 male suspects in Grand Bahama. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
Topping the news, the House of Assembly was back in session this morning. The Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, in his contributions outlined the government's accomplishments over the past 2 years. Additionally, he pledged to continue to do more for Bahamians everywhere. Shoshana Wolf-Farquharson leads us off tonight with our top story.
The nation's leader says the government returns to the halls of Parliament with a renewed focus, ready to expedite the legislative and policy agenda for the betterment of Bahamians. He says the government remains committed to the growth of the economy.
Tourism numbers are at record levels. Businesses are thriving, and we are experiencing economic growth once again. From day one, this administration made it clear that we were committed to delivering on the changes we promised.
He says after securing the recovery of the economy, bringing in record number of tourists, and bringing unemployment down to the lowest levels in over 15 years, another key area is to ensure that Bahamians' pathway to careers are unimpeded, particularly to foreign hires. This is why he says the government is also launching a new notice of vacancy unit at the Department of Labor to ensure that the law is enforced.
Our people rely on their government to protect them. And this unit will step in to ensure that in instances when an employer hires a non-Bahamian, a Bahamian understudy is identified and is actively being trained. Eventually, in accordance with that training plan, the Bahamian will be elevated to that role, eliminating the need to fill the role of a non-Bahamian.
Healthcare also high on the Davis-led agenda. For years, residents on the island of Grand Bahama have appealed to successive governments for a hospital. Davis says under his administration, it's happening.
Preliminary work is being done to build a specialty hospital in New Providence and a new hospital in Grand Bahama. I'm sure this is welcome news to those who rely on our public hospitals for their healthcare needs. While the preparatory phase for the new hospital is time intensive, I can assure the Bahamian people that when the work begins, it will be expedited to ensure that both facilities are completed in a timely manner.
Housing, also a major concern for islands like Abaco and Grand Bahama, particularly since the passage of Hurricane Dorian. The nation's leader says the government is also moving forward to ensure that this is addressed.
We will begin making progress on hundreds more homes in Abaco and Grand Bahama, where many people still need housing 4 years after Dorian. This will include the launch of the Rent-to-Own initiative, which will further expand access to qualified people who demonstrate the ability to pay but may not have been approved under more rigid standards for a mortgage. This is real change.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shashina Rolf-Farquharson.
In other news, the untimely passing of the former cabinet minister Obi Wilchcombe has prompted calls to name the administrator's complex in 8 Mile Rock in his honor, a proposal that Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxey, wholeheartedly supports. While highlighting Wilchcombe's role in the development of the complex, she adds that he had ambitious plans for the island, and now there's a united effort to ensure his legacy endures.
I'm one of the ones who believe that that should be named in his honor, but we'll see what happens there. You also have the Holmes Rock Junior High School, and so many other things that he's championed. He also wants us to get the fishing, well, not the fishing hole road, the fish fry, Sunset Village. He wants some work done there as well, and so we'll be continuing to carry on many of the projects that he wanted done.
Senator Kirkland Russell also lauding Minister Wilchcombe, stating that he gave aggressively throughout his career in public service, which began at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas when he was just 16. He says Wilchcombe's contribution spanned sports, social services, tourism, and he too hopes the complex can be named in honor of Wilchcombe.
Even in the West End community, when you talk about various sporting tournaments or whatever they want to do in West End in his honor, Bimini, there should be something, because he loved the people, he cared for the people, and he gave the people the best he had to give.
Heading now into news from police. Officers from the 8 Mile Rock Police Station are busy searching for Kareem Kwando Burrows, alias Kareem Kwando Roll of Hepburn Town, 8 Mile Rock, in connection with causing harm. He stands 6 feet 6 inches tall, weighs 145 pounds, dark brown complexion, slim build with dark brown eyes. Anyone spotting Roll are asked to please approach with extreme caution. Dial police emergency immediately at 911, the National Crime Prevention Office at 302-8430. Family Islanders, please dial 300-8476. Also, officers from the Criminal Investigations Department are also searching for Vivian Keith Van Kennick of number 21 Caneby Drive in connection with fraud. The 31-year-old stands 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighs 160 pounds, dark brown complexion, average build with dark brown eyes. If you spot him, please approach with extreme caution and care. Dial police emergency immediately at 911, the National Crime Prevention Office at 302-8430 or 1 Crime Stoppers at 352-1919, 350-3106, or 9 Family Islanders, please dial 242-300-8476. Well, the Progressive Liberal Party supporters flooding the airport today on Grand Bahama to welcome home standard-bearer for the PLP, Kingsley Smith. Tonight, he tells our Raven Davis that his first order of business is to meet and greet residents of West Grand Bahama to hear their concerns firsthand.
It is a charged atmosphere here at the Grand Bahama Private Airport as PLP standard bearer Kingsley Smith has arrived just moments ago. Now Smith, who is met with much fanfare, is a native of West End and says his immediate plans are to hear the concerns of constituents.
Kingsley, 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 Kingsley.
I'm happy to be home. This is my home. And as you can see by the reception, these are the people I born and raised with. And I'm very, 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 very happy to be here with them. We have our plans in place. And as time goes by, you will all hear what the plans are moving forward for the future.
Now, despite what seemed to be somewhat of a rift at the recent PLP Council meeting, a significant number of party supporters have convened here, and they say they're in full support of Smith.
It's important for us to be here so that we can welcome the candidate as he comes home after the candidacy committee and NGC have voted. And we want to show him our support, let him know that all hands are on deck.
This is his first formal introduction to the island of Grand Bahama as the standard bearer, as you put it. And I think everyone is all excited.
Because he's one of us. He's one of us. Someone who we could go to and speak to. He's very approachable. And at this time, there's a time and a season for everything. And I believe this is the time for the next generation to rise up and take their rightful place in this country.
Because we think that he is the right person for the job.
Why do you think he's the right person for the job?
Because he's a people's person. And, you know, he's a good person in general. You talk to him, he's easy to talk to, you know, and I think he'll make a lot of changes happen for us in that district.
Now, the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency has long been a PLP stronghold. Minister of Works and Family Island Affairs, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, also on hand and says he's confident Mr. Smith will be elected.
For us, this is important to do this one for Obi and to ensure that we support Kingsley Smith as he becomes the next Member of Parliament for West End and Bimini.
Now from here, a candidate-launched church service is expected to kick off at Inspirational Global Ministries, and the nation's leader, the Honorable Philip Davis, will deliver a special address. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Thanks, Raven. Now, as mentioned, the Progressive Liberal Party's political machinery is in West Grand Bahama tonight with the church service set to take place in just a few minutes. Our Jolanda Thompson-Everest is standing by live with the latest. Jolanda.
It's set to take place at Coming to you live from Inspirational Global Ministries in Holmes' Rock, where a special service for the Progressive Liberal Party's candidate is set to take place ahead of the campaign trail. In attendance will be the Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, and Standard Bearer, Kingsley Smith. As always, before hitting the campaign trail, the PLP say it is important to start this by-election process off in church. We understand a performance by Pastor Simeon Alton is also a part of the program tonight. Now scores of supporters, as previously reported, welcomed Smith at the airport earlier, followed by a motorcade, and will begin arriving here shortly. Now the selection process is over, PLP supporters say they intend to rally behind Smith to win this upcoming by-election. This evident today as this church is pastored by one of the PLP political aspirants, Edmund Munro, who has also publicly thrown his support behind the PLP candidate. Now, once again, Romiko, the special service is set to underway in a few minutes. Live from Holmes' Rock, I'm Jolanda Thompson-Everest. Back to you in studio, Romiko.
Thank you so much, Yolanda, live at that church service in West Grand Bahama. In other news, the Free National Movement Standard Bearer Ricardo Grant igniting campaign momentum with a Bimini visit, motorcades, and a Grand Bahama rally as Election Day looms tonight. The party's national vice chairman reveals their future campaign plans.
Well, moving forward, Ricardo Grant will be focused on the voters in the constituency.
Tonight, the rod is your voter's card. You gotta stretch it out.
David Thompson, chairman of the Free National Movement in Grand Bahama, expressing confidence in the party's support for Ricardo Grant to clinch victory and flip the West Grand Bahama and Bimini seat to the F&M. Historically, this constituency has only seen F&M victories on 2 occasions in the past 50 years, with David Wallace in 1997 and Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe in 2017. Nevertheless, Thompson firmly believes that Ricardo Grant will lead them to a triumphant outcome.
After ratification, he would have traveled to Bimini the following day and stayed there before traveling the next day to Grand Bahama, where we had our motorcade and went all the way down to the tip of West Grand Bahama and back, and we would have opened 3 headquarters. 1 in 8 Mile Rock, 1 in Holmes' Rock, and 1 in West End. We would have also opened in Bimini.
With 14 polling divisions in the constituency, David Thompson asserts that their dedicated teams are canvassing the area in anticipation of the upcoming by-election.
Over the next several weeks, because I do believe that by the last week in November, this will all be over. We would be doing a schedule which would involve public rallies, rallies in the alley, and would as well involve us getting all of our canvassers, all of our poll workers, all of our supporters involved in all of the activities.
The party's national vice chairman highlights their people-centric campaign strategy, emphasizing that the F&M now boasts a new leader and an entirely fresh leadership approach.
He is the kind of leader who is hands-on and who would have looked at all possible angles that could cause the F&M to have an advantage and to win. And he has a new leadership team. So the F&M is comprised of a new leader with new leadership and a vision not just for the country, but also a vision for West Grand Bahama and Bimini.
Well, a lot of attention has been on the 2 major parties in the Progressive Liberal Party and the Free National Movement ratifying their candidates for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini seat for the upcoming by-election. However, independent candidate Daquan Swain says he has a track record of advocating for the residents of West Grand Bahama and Bimini prior to the sudden passing of the late Honorable Obi Wilchcombe, and that is why he believes that voters should consider the motives of all the candidates before casting their votes at the ballots.
Of times where, and we've seen it in the cycle of politics, where people get elected in, they get their big title, they move to Nassau, you never hear back from them. West Grandmama and Bimini need someone who is actually in the community, whose only job is the community, and who isn't focused on the big fancy titles, moving to Nassau, getting the fancy position. No, the only job is working in the community for it to grow, and that is the focus.
Swain is also of the belief that he is the most qualified candidate because of his history in politics, in addition to his ties in the West End community, and he's confident that he can represent the people of West End and Bimini in Parliament if voted as their representative.
Your track record. You know, it's the work you do, it's the work that you put into the community, it's the lives that you impacted, it's the causes that you fight for. It's not the, you know, the hype of the campaigns and the hype of the elections and the motorcades and the fancy speeches and the air talks. You know, it's the same way you always could see someone's teeth, but you can't see their heart. And politics only has to do with what's in your heart and you doing right by people.
Well, when we come back, scores of youngsters take to the streets for the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture's annual march and rally. That story, sports and more. In the Bahamas tonight, the Northern Edition returns.
You asked for it, you've got it. A new plant nursery fully loaded with everything you need and extended hours. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
It's the 25% off fall sale at Park & Shop. This October 26th, 27th, and 28th, excluding underwear and red tag items.
Every Sunday from noon until 4 p.m., join us at Portobello's Restaurant at the Grand Lucayan for a delicious full buffet spread. Call 373-1333 for more information.
Fluid Factory presents Rick Ross live in concert Saturday, December 23rd at Gombe Park, Freeport. Early bird tickets, general $35, VIP $50, and platinum $85. Fluid Factory Skybox $150. See you there.
Have you ever wondered how electricity gets to your home? Let's start at the beginning. Our teams at our energy plant work around the clock to generate power to be delivered to your home or business. When it leaves the generating facility, electricity first travels to a switch yard that increases the voltage to allow it to travel long distances throughout the island. A network of high voltage transmission lines is the backbone of the electric grid and is used to carry large amounts of electricity across long distances. After completing the first leg of this journey, electricity arrives at the neighborhood substation. The substation's job is to lower the voltage before power can be sent over shorter distances closer to homes and businesses. Once lowered, the electricity is now ready for the final leg of its voyage. When it leaves the substation, it travels along the distribution poles and wires, the ones you see every day around your community. Just outside your home or business, the electricity voltage is further reduced by a pole mount transformer to a level that customers use in their homes or businesses. And now that the electricity has finally reached its destination, it travels through a meter, flows to a service panel, and then to the outlets inside your home. To learn more about how our business operates, visit our website or follow us on Facebook.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. After the passing of Hurricane Dorian and the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ministry of Education hosting a 2-day professional development seminar at the Grand Lucayan. Hundreds of teachers from various schools on the island being celebrated for their labor and also being taught that their mental health is also important. Jolanda Thompson-Everest reports.
Officials at the Ministry of Education are describing teachers as the driving force behind success. And with that being said, the ministry is staging a development seminar geared towards uplifting the educators, but also teaching them strategic ways on preserving their mental health when going through challenges and personal issues.
Since
Hurricane Dorian and the pandemic, we have never been able to get together in this kind of setting. And we recognize in education that our teachers are the driving force behind everything we do. So we really wanted to treat them to something special. We have some excellent speakers on board today who will address them. We're addressing every facet of their lives in education, and we're just pleased that we are able to be here at our Lukaya and really treat our teachers to this session today.
Keynote speaker Dr. Richard Adderley and Cecil Thompson were amongst those that brought remarks, speaking to the impact and influence of the different generations of teachers and the importance of delivering empathy.
What we want to explore today is what are the characteristics, what are the qualities that each generation brings, and then how we can mesh those characteristics and talents so that we can provide better education for our students.
More than 800 Bahamians died as a result of the pandemic, right? You couple that with what happened here in Grand Bahama, I think we had more than 30, right? And so if ever there was a time for teachers to be compassionate, to show empathy, to show extra care and concern for students, now is the time.
Now, these two teachers say that the seminar was much needed, and they look forward to day 2 of the therapeutic session.
Today is very uplifting. I think it is something that we all needed, just kind of a breath of fresh air where we can just come together and just be uplifted so that our spirits can be edified and that we can just kind of build up each other, especially in this profession.
This seminar is quite inspiring and motivating, right? I think it's a good session for teachers to get to be with one another after being away for some time, working hard. And all in all, I think it's a very good session.
The teachers assembled in the Grand Ballroom were also treated to a special luncheon after the seminar. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson Everest.
Well, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture held its youth march over the weekend, unifying various schools and churches on the island. The march beginning at C.A. Smith Building, where the opening ceremony was held. Here again is Jolanda Thompson Everest.
Students marching to the sound of musical beats, dancing with colorful pom-poms and shouting celebratory marks as they hit the streets going in honor of Youth Month. The young children filled with excitement as they strolled along East Mall Drive, uniformed and representing their schools with pride and dignity. Officials from the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture were in attendance, as well as the Minister of Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, who declared the march open.
Youth Month is a reminder that the future of the Bahamas rests in the hands of our youth. It is a call to action to nurture, empower, and motivate young Bahamians. The late Nelson Mandela once said, "The youth of today are leaders of tomorrow." As the Minister for Grand Bahama and the Mother, I recognize that young people in today's world face unique challenges.
Minister Moxie says that while some students are faced with adversity, the government is doing its part to address social ills.
You are not just the leaders of tomorrow, you are the leaders of today. Your ideas, your voices, your excellence, and your actions matter. Your vibrancy will be the force to ignite positive change in our country and beyond.
Presenters Leela Lathan and Corey Damianos Jr. were two youngsters exemplifying the standard of excellence, encouraging their classmates and friends to create goals and focus on them until they are achieved.
We are a chosen generation called upon to show His excellence. If we're called upon to show His excellence, that means we were already excellent. Therefore, excellence already is our standard.
Preparation is paramount. You must prepare yourself for the success you wish to attain. This first requires you to set a goal, that ultimate target that you hope to hit. It could be a goal for this term, this school year, or 5-year goal. No matter the time frame, have a target.
The march ended at the Independence Park, followed by a selection of the Legends Marching Band and the closing out prayer of covering for all of those attended. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson Everest.
Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition is back after this.
Doctors Hospital's reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations in Freeport and 8 Mile Rock, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
Come on, come on. It's Do It Center's Big Tent Sale. Saturday, October 28th. 5 a.m., 1 p.m. Big deals, big savings, all under the big tent.
Do It Center's biggest sale of the year. Up to 50% off on selected items in plumbing, electrical, paint, lawn and garden, houseware, building materials, and much more. Free face painting and treats for the kids. When the tent goes up, prices go down. So don't miss it. Saturday, October 28th, 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. Just look for the Big Tent. Located on Farm Road at the Gold Rock Complex. Call 350-2316 for more information. And remember, Do It Center when you need to do it right.
Somebody call the Brinks truck.
Christmas in Freeport presents the Black Bottle Christmas Concert featuring The Boss, Rick Ross, live in concert.
The biggest concert of the year. And you know the biggest boss gonna run out there, boy.
On Saturday, December 23rd at Gombe Park, Freeport, Bahamas, with DJs like Tico T, Overdose, 1K Gaza, DJ Cannon, Just Ride, King Diano, Little Giant, DJ Slangs, DJ Future, Matt Bull, and more. It's Christmas in Freeport. The Black Bottle Christmas, BBC, Part 5, with Rick Ross, The Boss, performing live. Saturday, December 23rd, 2023, at Gombe Park, Freeport, Bahamas. Doors open at 9 p.m. until. Security is strictly enforced. For more info, call 602-7751 or 727-3226. The Black Bottle Christmas Concert.
The biggest boss in the biz, Ricky Rose. I'm performing live.
For sponsorship and Skybox info, call 602-7751.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Owen Darville, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We trust that you had an enjoyable birthday, and we always say thank you so much for your support. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team here in the North, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, speech from the throne debated. Chief Passport Officer resigns. A hero's story. And in sports, best of the best set to sail. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Makush Lapinder, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. Still quite a few months to go before the government delivers on its promise to increase the national insurance rate as a primary means of keeping the social safety net afloat. And this in the face of roughly 132,000 people being part of NIB's active insurance base. Now, while numbers have been thrown out on what that increase will look like, The government has not yet made this public. Speaking to the issue in the House of Assembly this afternoon, National Insurance Minister, the Honourable Alfred Sayers, noted that the new rate will be determined by Cabinet and from there presented to Parliament.
But as we increase the rate, Mr. Deputy, I've made it very clear to the board and the executive and the staff of NIB that we have to take certain measures so that we, as the increase of the contribution is announced, we can also announce that we will increase the value. We will increase the value by giving better customer service. We will increase the value by enhancing the platform and so that the work of the board could be done more efficiently. We will review the investment strategy so that there could be prudent investment of the funds to ensure, as stewards of the fund, that we guarantee that future generations would be secured.
Now, Sayers says this also calls for better managing NIB's assets and collecting from delinquent employers.
In addition to customer service initiative, improve the claims department responsible for processing all short-term benefit claims, which have awarded over 20,000 claims and paid out $31.3 million. In mid-2022, the claim departments experienced system-related challenges, and the board is committed to addressing those challenges. Also, Mr. Deputy, the Central Benefits Department, in this session of Parliament, we will propose amendments to the Act and regulations, and also the technological improvements so that online card renewals would be possible to avoid people having to spend time and go into the office.
The minister also spoke of a commitment to implement a succession plan at the National Insurance Board to ensure officers will have the opportunity to ultimately assume leadership roles. While the NIB's minister's comments came while contributing to debate on a resolution thanking the Governor-General for the speech from the throne. Leading off for the government, the Prime Minister, who detailed his administration's ambitious legislative agenda for the new session. Fern Carey reports.
Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis providing a comprehensive overview of the government's legislative agenda designed to build a solid foundation of continued growth, progress and recovery for the nation. In keeping with the government's key priorities of personal, economic and national security, Prime Minister Davis announced a major initiative that will ensure that the country's labour laws are enforced and Bahamian workers protected.
We are now launching a new Notice of Vacancy unit at the Department of Labor. Which will ensure that the law and policy are enforced. Yes. Our people rely on their government to protect them. And this unit will step in to ensure that in instances when an employer hires a non-Bahamian, a Bahamian understudy is identified and is actively being trained. Eventually, in accordance with that training plan, the Bahamian will be elevated to that role, eliminating the need to fill the role of a non-Bahamian.
The nation's chief also indicated that a national food security plan will be launched to reduce the country's high food import bill, while measures will be introduced to offset the high cost of living and global inflation.
In this parliamentary session, we will introduce a renewable energy bill to facilitate the expansion of renewable energy. We will also establish standards for liquid natural gas, with an LNG bill providing a transitional alternative to produce cleaner energy than our current oil and diesel system.
A slew of legislation will also be introduced to enhance security at the country's borders to address the undocumented migrant crisis and the violent crime epidemic in the country.
Defense Force patrols will continue at the same intensity, and the base in Inago will continue to be a vital asset in managing our undocumented migrant situation. In New Providence, saturation patrols will continue. And we will also focus on youth engagement, the second chance program, and other rehabilitative and social outreach programs to address the crime problem at its roots.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
Meantime, education officials seeing a significant upswing in student attendance. Education Minister and Engliston Member of Parliament, the Honourable Glenys Hannah Martin, attributing the progress to a number of strategies implemented to track and find thousands of students who fell off the radar at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Based on our EMIS, which is our system that monitors attendance, that for the month of September, and it's qualified because they're going to cross-reference by going on the ground, speaking to teachers, etc. But the EMIS is showing an attendance rate of over 95% of children. So we prioritize getting children off the street and into the classroom.
The Education Minister further shared that individualized learning strategies are being deployed in the public education system to provide a more focused approach in addressing learning issues.
55 schools conduct small group pull-out and self-contained programs. And we do this because where children may be challenged, you don't want to hold back the entire class, but you want to make sure that child has an individualized attention. And so we do pull-out groups, and 55 schools are doing that as we speak. And the instruction is tailored to their specific learning needs.
Well, East Grand Bahama MP Kwesi Thompson, in his contribution to today's House debate, credited the government with presenting a good speech, but that considering the current state of the country, Bahamians need much more than just that.
There were many promises made in this speech. There are many promises were made in the last speech. We have heard many of them before. If it's one thing they are good at, it's making promises. But what I and many others are not convinced of is whether they will deliver on those promises.
While the government reasons the prorogation of Parliament was simply a reset, Thompson questioned, why now?
But this is what I believe. This is my belief, my opinion. The PLP government was facing unprecedented criticism. Businesses and the general public were suffering from high electricity prices, high inflation, in particular, unescapable high food prices. Even the PLP are publicly admitting that the poor is catching hell. Adding the 10% on bread basket items for VAT is making it extremely difficult for ordinary Bahamians to be able to survive.
Well, ahead of a sprint to the polls, the Progressive Liberal Party's candidate for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency, Kingsley Smith, today officially tendered his resignation as Chief Passport Officer, a post he's held down since this past May. In a brief letter to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Smith wished staffers at the Passport Office and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs the best for the future. Now, Smith emerged the winner of a heated candidacy selection within the Progressive Liberal Party, having beat out 9 others, including former Cabinet Minister Shane Gibson, to represent the governing party during the upcoming by-election sometime next month. The PLP's Haraki has expressed every confidence Smith will retain the seat left vacant due to the sudden death of Obi Wilchcombe. Other declared candidates include the Free National Movement's Ricardo Grant, Coalition of Independent leader Lincoln Bain, and Tennille Burrows, an independent. While outside the House of Assembly, reporters hoping to get a date from the Prime Minister on the upcoming West Grand Bahama and Bimini by-election didn't score much of a scoop this morning. But as Corval Python reports, we do, however, know a lot more about the PLP's upcoming national convention.
Prime Minister Davis brushing past reporters on his way into the House of Assembly Wednesday morning, only providing this much insight as to the date of the West Grand Bahama and Bimini by-election.
Can you tell us about when the by-election is going to be called? Just a little something.
Meanwhile, at party headquarters, plans were announced for the PLP's 55th National Convention in November.
Our guiding theme for this convention is building on progress and driving new change. This convention will address real concerns and suggestions of our members. By addressing these issues, we reiterate our commitment to being a party that listens and acts upon the collective wisdom of the members.
As much as the Progressive Liberal Party would like to look beyond its recent heated nomination process for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini by-election, it is finding that hard to do. Shane Gibson came up short in that race, and now the party is being confronted with questions about what, if any, impact Mr. Gibson will have at its upcoming national convention.
The Secretary General says we'll know Thursday close of business who is running and not running.
This was Fred Mitchell responding to questions about a possible challenge to his post from Mr. Gibson, who is reportedly considering making a bid for chairman during the convention, which will take place at the Baha Mar Convention Center.
But the Progressive Liberal Party is an open, transparent organization. Anyone has the right to, once they fulfill the requirements of the Constitution, to run, and it's not for me to speculate or to say who should or shouldn't. Any member in good standing has that right, and I'll stand on that.
Mr. Mitchell also shooting down F&M leader Michael Pintard's claims that the PLP's recent candidate selection process was anything but fair.
So how would he know? He has no idea what happened in PLP's meeting. It's a closed meeting, and he can say what he likes, but he has no idea what went on in the meeting.
We expect to demonstrate that the PLP is still the best choice for Bahamians.
PLPs are expected to meet in convention November 9th through the 11th, setting the tone for the upcoming West Grand Bahama and Bimini by-election. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corval Python.
Still to come, diplomats awarded. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
Has changed over the past 60 years. But at Commonwealth Bank, our mission to build lifelong relationships with our clients remains the same. Our customers are more than just a number. Our customers are our family. And together, we create banking solutions that fit your unique needs. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Just when Leo was about to buy this useless pair of Hands underwear, he remembered that it was Tuesday. Hungry for deals? You better come satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Crazy Tuesdays! 5 juicy, mouth-watering pieces of world-famous KFC chicken, handmade with a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices for only $10. Crazy Tuesdays! A finger-licking good deal.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
The savings you really need are found at Super Value and Quality supermarkets. So cheesy macaroni and cheese, 7 1/4 ounce, 89 cents. Sea bass chunk tuna, 5 ounces, 99 cents. Whole watermelons, $6.99 each. Chicken leg quarters, 10-pound bag, 99 cents per pound. Super Value Protein Gas, 8 ounce, $1.99. October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Together, we can make a difference. Super Value and Quality supermarkets.
Angie, how can I get my claims paid quick? Rent's due next week.
CG processes 99% of claims within 5 days. Remember when I was hang gliding with those goats? I caught a gust of wind and flew right into a moving car. Every appendage was in the cast, and they paid fast and fairly. That's what I get for trusting a man with a mustache and an eye patch. Now I gotta go. I'm meeting the guy who bedazzled my tubs.
99% of claims are processed within 5 days. CG Atlantic Medical and Life. Good like that.
We are New Life Natural Company Limited, and we have actually been in the community for now 13 years, serving in the health field. Our diets is probably one of the most poorest diets actually in the Caribbean, and we are really low in the world. As a result of our diet, we are actually inheriting all of these different diseases. So we need to kind of like shift the way how we eat and shift it to eating more healthier food. So we at New Life here, we are trying to change the paradigms. We are actually introducing tasty, healthy options. And so hopefully this SBDC initiative will actually create the awareness, help us to have an understanding of what we are doing, why we are doing it, and help us to begin to shift this paradigm of proper eating, proper dieting, and proper fitness. So our motto is eat well, be well, and let your food be your medicine.
For more information about the Fitness and Wellness Initiative, contact the SBDC at 461-7232.
Diplomatic Week, brought to you by Bahamas Financial Services Board.
The world is still very interested in investing in the Bahamas. That's what the Diplomatic Corps learned today during a roundtable discussion on that very topic. Officials of the Bahamas Investment Authority acknowledging that investors search the world for that special project, but they always find that something special right here in the Bahamas. Altavice Munnings joins us live in studio with what the Director of Investment shared with her in an exclusive interview. Good evening, Altavice.
Good evening, Makushla. Over the last 2 to 3 years, that's post-COVID and post-Hurricane Dorian, there's been a significant increase in foreign direct investments. So says Director of Investments at the Bahamas Investment Authority, Felicia Woods-Hanna, who told me this afternoon after appearing on a Diplomatic Week roundtable on investing that tourism-related projects are high in demand. Add to that, investment in medicine, agriculture, agri-tech, and manufacturing. Well, the Bahamas Investment Authority's domestic investment portfolio is prioritizing government's push for more Bahamians to own a piece of the proverbial economic pie.
I think the first thing is sensitizing Bahamians to the fact that the same concessions that are available for foreign direct investors are also available for domestic investors. The next thing that I'm working with the Bahamas Development Bank on is access to funds for domestic investors. But first, we must identify those sectors that are priority sectors for Bahamians to participate and see how we can facilitate small to medium-sized businesses in that regard. We're also working with the Small Business Development Center as well to make sure that the tools that investors need are also there. So it's not only just the capital, but also the tools. The BIA is also working with investors to make sure that the transfer of knowledge from investors and the foreign capital that comes into our country is there for Bahamians, or new, innovative opportunities for Bahamians.
And speaking of foreign direct investment, Director Hannah Woods admitted next year is going to be quite busy for the country.
Well, let's just say you'll be invited to a number of groundbreakings, a number of openings. That's what we're looking forward to. It doesn't stop at the approval stage for us. There is a monitoring and evaluation from the BIA standpoint where we make sure we actually hold the hands of investors throughout the entire process to make sure that, one, if they say they're starting in 2021, that they do so, because we need the jobs. And I don't just mean construction jobs. We mean operational jobs where Bahamians can participate, where there are entrepreneurial opportunities for Bahamians. We also have a multi-agency approach to foreign direct investments because BIA is the facilitator, but we work with a number of government agencies. So in my role as director, I've been working with all of the other directors and my counterparts in the government agencies to see how we could remove as much of the red tape as possible, along with making sure that we keep the Bahamian interests at heart.
Well, it was just on Monday at the opening of the Caribbean Investment Forum that Minister of Finance, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis, touted that his administration has already begun revamping national investment policies and promotional strategies while engaging foreign and domestic investors to bring billions of dollars into investments. And one way the BIA plans to do so is by upgrading the national investment policy.
The National Investment Policy was introduced in 1994. A lot has changed since then, and so with that being said, we're looking not only when we look at the concessions that we grant for investors, we're looking at making sure that we have an accurate list of industries that are reserved for Bahamians. What does that mean? That means where the local capacity exists so that Bahamians can meaningfully participate in foreign direct investments. My job as director is to facilitate foreign direct investments in the best interest of the Bahamian people first and foremost and always.
Well, the Director of Investments also revealed today that many young Bahamians are contacting her personally, inquiring about investing right here at home. She's expected to share more on the country's investment outlook at Thursday's Office of the Prime Minister press briefing. Reporting live in studio for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Altaviz Mannings. Back to you, Makushla.
Well, thanks, Alto. Those discussions taking place over at Bahamar. Last evening, 13 recipients who made an indelible mark in the Foreign Service received medals of distinction during the Prime Minister's recognition ceremony at that Cable Beach property. Among the honorees, former Foreign Affairs Director General Rhoda Jackson Grant took home the Janet Bostwick Medal for Women in the Foreign Service, while former Permanent Secretary Philip Miller walked away with the Clement T. Maynard Medal of Innovation.
Every rank and having the opportunity to serve the country abroad, that I can be recognized as an exemplary Foreign Service officer, it's humbling, but I'd like to think that it gives other young people hope that they can do the same thing.
I was the Permanent Secretary who really brought about the first diplomatic week. And the Foreign Service orders, all in 2014, and the Foreign Service Act. These were things that permanent secretaries before me had been working on since like 1989.
Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis encouraged the diplomatic corps to not only represent their country, but pursue national interest, forge new friendships, and explore untapped opportunities.
Small island developing states the world over are experiencing the distressing symptoms of modernity, fatal flaws. Globally, climate change is causing countries like ours the most harm, despite us having done the least to bring it about. This is not just a catchphrase. This is an idea, and ideas are capable of not only changing their minds, but changing our tomorrow. I advanced this idea earlier this month at the Canada-CARICOM Summit in Ottawa, and I will continue to expand upon it at COP28, where CARICOM countries will push for progress on the much-needed loss and damage fund, despite the disappointing news I got earlier today that negotiations are broken down.
Well, over at the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort, the Caribbean Investment Forum closed out today following 2 days of discussions involving 45 institutional investors and 50 registered attendees from 40 countries. On the sidelines of the forum, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism and Investments, the Honorable Chester Cooper, expressed optimism some investment deals will be made.
As a former businessman myself, a recovering businessman, I recognize that nothing happens until a deal is actually made. So this is good for the Caribbean. We have to do more in the Caribbean to do business with ourselves for the sustainability of the region and for the general harmony and relationships in the region and for improved connectivity, improve logistics. The more business deals are done, the more we will have air connectivity and shipping routes created for the entire Caribbean.
And while not a novel idea, Cooper insists if the Bahamas is to do more business, transportation must be resolved.
We have begun some conversations through the Caribbean Tourism Organization. I've been leading some of these conversations as Vice Chairman of CARICOM, but it has to be a business to business. This cannot just be idealism. So Bahamas Air must talk to Caribbean Airlines, must talk to Cayman Airways, and all of the Caribbean air carriers to ensure that we're bringing them all together to create code-share interline agreements and collaborate on some of these important routes.
And speaking of transportation, Atlantis' plans for domestic seaplane operations near Montague Bay are dead in the water after Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honourable Chester Cooper, says it encountered overwhelming opposition from the sailing community. The property held a town meeting earlier this month with hopes of garnering public support to acquire a water aerodrome license to operate in the area. Those plans, though, rejected by the Civil Aviation Authority and the Port Authority. With another location selected, Cooper says the concept has some merit, as the Bahamas is a high-end destination with many islands and keys.
The sheer charm of the experience of taking a seaplane to Walker's Key or to Andros and landing at your hotel is really a significant product enhancement for the islands of the Bahamas. So in principle, I support the concept. We have to find, though, logistically, the location that makes sense as a launching pad. In the meantime, I'm confident, though, that these flights will continue, leaving from LPIA, maybe landing in areas across the Bahamas where they are approved to land. And therefore, you know, the project, I am sure, will go on.
Oh, we have more insight into Sunday night's near drowning at Arawak Key. Tonight, our Devontae Hannah shares the story of a hero.
An act of bravery caught on camera.
Keyshawn, you get up? Oh, yes, Lord, yes.
It was a nerve-wracking 3 minutes for Keyshawn Marshall on Sunday night. He's the 23-year-old who rescued a 16-year-old girl trapped in a vehicle underwater.
Upon hearing that information, I just came with no hesitation, gave my mom my belongings, and I went into the water. At that moment, I just wanted her to be alive.
According to police, the driver lost control of the vehicle, plunging it overboard. Days later, Marshall walks the bridge at the rear of Arawak Key, a hero.
The car was pointing nose down to the seabed. So I went down and I opened the front door. It was a hassle, but I got it open, and there she was. Bring her up to the front of me, and place her here, swim to the rocks, and hand her to the civilians.
Both the father of one and his mother, Cherie Smith, worked just across the street at Deepwater's Cafe, Arawak Key. Smith actually was the one who called out to her son. This despite reports of the waters being shark-infested.
I did that with the grace of God behind it, because I know God was going to keep him. And by me doing that, I felt confident within myself that he was going to come out with that young lady.
Marshall's swift response ended with an applause. Still, the mother-son duo makes clear the bravery was not for recognition, but rather a case of being your brother's keeper.
It's a human life we're talking about, so we have to act on that, whether we serve in the country or we just civilians. So I went and did what was needed to do. At that moment, you know, God just spoke to me and there was no questions.
The fact that everybody stood around and maybe they could not swim, but to have the heart that he had, a brave heart, that's what we need today.
And as fate would have it, today the young father heads to Coco Key to start a new job as a lifeguard. He does so with this wish.
As long as she comes back to reality, then I would feel accomplished, more accomplished.
And by me doing that, I felt confident within myself that he was going to come out with that young lady.
In hospital, listed in critical condition. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Devontae Hanna.
Well, thanks, Devontae. In court news, disgraced former fashion mogul Peter Nygaard taking the stand in his sexual assault trial underway in a Toronto court. International reports cite that in his opening address, Nygaard's attorney told jurors his 82-year-old client will give a clear, unequivocal denial of the charges against him. This after the Crown closed its case yesterday following 2 weeks of testimony from 5 female complainants. Nygaard has pleaded not guilty to 5 counts of sexual assault and 1 count of forcible confinement related to the alleged offenses stemming from the 1980s to 2005. Once his trial ends in Canada, the longtime Lyford Key resident is expected to be extradited to the United States to face charges for similar offenses he allegedly committed in that country, as well as the Bahamas. Meantime, active investigations underway into a stabbing at a local resort Tuesday morning. Reports are that a male employee got into a fight with a female co-worker that led to the 28-year-old woman being stabbed. The victim was taken to hospital where she's since been treated and discharged. The 27-year-old suspect, at last report, was assisting police with their investigations. Marcellus Hall joins us in studio with a check on what's coming up in sports. Marcellus?
Coming up in sports for you this evening, Best of the Best Regatta just around the corner. We'll give you details on how that's all shaping up just after this.
During an address at the Exuma Business Outlook 2023, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, spoke on the economic advances achieved for the island of Exuma.
In 50 years of measuring our growth as a nation, Exuma's experiencing exponential growth in foreign direct investments to the tune of $1.5 billion approved since I became the minister responsible for investments. It's not all my doing. Prime Minister declared when we came to office that the Bahamas is open for business. Now, Exuma, constrained only by its capacity, has increased its growth in tourism by 11% over 2022 and 21% over 2019.
The Deputy Prime Minister also addressed plans for the future growth of the island and expressed the need for further community involvement moving forward.
In July of this year, the government of the Bahamas and your member of parliament signed a $10 million agreement to build business incubation centers in Grand Bahama, in Nassau, and Exuma. What this means is that we are creating a framework for new businesses to thrive. We need all leaders to rise to the occasion to help us to continue to drive the growth that we're seeing on the island of Exuma. We must keep Exuma clean, and we must protect the environment if that's the last thing we do.
For more tourism updates, visit Tourism Today or Bahamas.com. I'm Michael Miller, and this is Tourism Today.
Trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity.
It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it.
My sales increase, and I can track my earnings.
Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today.
Call 356-7764.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Highlight of Youth Month's calendar of events tonight. Dozens of young people doing extraordinary things within their communities and professions will be recognized for their invaluable contributions. LaDawn Davis joins us live from the University of the Bahamas' Performing Arts Center, where the event is underway. Good evening, LaDawn.
Makushla, dozens of nominees and their families are still trickling in here at the University of Bahamas Performing Arts Center. It's a big night for young people here in the country as some 14 awards are currently up for grabs. Now, just to give you some insight on some of those awards, we have the Entrepreneurship Award, the Community Volunteerism Award, the Rising Star Award, the Prime Minister's Cup, the Minister's Cup, and just to give you some more insight, we'll have the winners of those awards coming up later on in a later newscast. But the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Boleg, is also joining me live here this evening. Minister Boleg, talk to us a little bit about what does this awards ceremony actually mean for our young people in this country?
But you know, what the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture want to do, October month is recognized as Youth Month inside the country with the theme, Excellence is the Standard. But what we want to do is recognize the achievements of all of the young people throughout the length and breadth of the Bahamas, whether it's through education, sports, culture, the arts, empowerment, leadership, whatever it is. We want to represent them in a holistic approach of their achievements. And so we want to encourage, engage, inspire, and empower the young people of our nation.
14 awards, that's a large number of awards. Have you seen a large number of nominations being submitted this year?
Most definitely, but we say 14. We only able to do 14, but I want you to know that the young people of the Bahamas has been so inspiring, and they have been able to achieve so much that you want to try and give each and every one of them an award, but we can. But we understand that we have to look for the best of the best. But I want the Bahamian people to know that our young people are the best around the world. So I'm just happy to be the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture at this present moment so I can enjoy the young people who I know will be the future leaders of this country and take this country to the next level.
The Minister's Cup, I know you're giving an award this evening as well. Are you able to let a little bit out of the bag as to who you think would actually walk away with that prize?
No, I can't let it out of the bag because I don't know who's watching television. But I can tell you this much. The Minister's Cup and the Prime Minister's Cups are two of the most top high performers in their field of areas of expertise. And so we just want to recognize them and continue to inspire them.
All right, thank you so much, Minister Boleg, and all the best to you as we continue to celebrate Youth Month here in the country.
Yes, thank you much.
Makushla, now the ceremony has just started, and we're going to now go into the ceremony to see who our winners are. Back to you in studio.
Well, thanks, LaDawn. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more when we return.
In case you missed the news or want to stay ahead, subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook.
With the help of our authorized financial institutions, or AFIs, using sand dollars is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Step 1. Identify your preferred AFI by browsing their websites or contacting them directly. Step 2. Download the free mobile application from Google Play or the Apple Store and then register for a sand dollar account. Step 3. Load money onto your mobile app and begin sending and receiving sand dollars or purchasing and selling goods and services.
We are pleased to be
your central bank approved
digital wallet providers.
It does not matter which of us you choose.
You can pay for goods and services
wherever sand dollar is accepted.
We are all in this together.
Visit sanddollar.bs for more information.
Make your company representative stand out through an embroidery design on your uniforms from Janae's Uniform Center, Chesapeake Road. Janae's utilizes the latest state-of-the-art embroidery technology to monogram large and small quantities of shirts, caps, bags, and other articles. If you don't already have a digitized logo, Janae's can design and digitize your idea and bring it to life. Then install the logo of your choice from their large selections of 27 stock colors of golf shirts in cotton or dry fit, caps, or workwear. Call 394-8385 or 6 or visit www.janae's.com.
The Disaster Reconstruction Authority was established to restore Bahamian communities devastated by natural disasters. It's an agency whose existence came about in the aftermath of the devastating 2019 Hurricane Dorian. In its short lifetime, though, it has been plagued with challenges and mounting questions about its efficiency and accomplishment. The DRA has pushed the reset button, but as Corval Pyfrom reports, questions linger.
A plea this morning in the House of Assembly from East Grand Bahama MP Kwesi Thompson.
And so, Mr. Deputy, we will not be satisfied until relief is brought to the people of the Bahamas.
East Grand Bahama, one of those areas hardest hit during Hurricane Dorian, and 4 years later, it is still among the communities reeling from this devastation. The Disaster Reconstruction Authority, created in the aftermath of Dorian, was supposed to alleviate some of the burden for residents impacted. Sadly, the help has been challenged.
We have totally aligned the structure of how the DRA operates and put processes in place. We found that there were a lot of things missing, simple in improving purchase orders and other things. Even the purchase order system was flawed.
DRA Executive Chairman Alex Storr says work is happening on Abaco and parts of eastern Grand Bahama. New homes have been built, many repaired, and residents are being provided assistance. He admits, though, the process has been slow.
We have now ramped up our home repair programs on both Grand Bahama and Abaco and providing relief for those that have been crying out.
Of course, the DRA would like to assist all those homeowners needing to repair or rebuild their homes, Mr. Storr says, but quite frankly, that's just not feasible. Demand is high, resources are strained, and so the process has to be evaluated on a case-by-case need basis.
The main issue is funding. As you know, we are just one of many government agencies that have to compete for government funds. So the funds that we use, we try to help as many people as we can as quickly as possible, but of course, we can't help everyone all at once.
There are matters involving the managing of the hurricane shelters during the 2019 storm and missing items, monies not accounted for, that remain under active investigation. Though not saying much on these probes, Storr provided this update.
I've said before, the police are actively investigating. We have met with the police again just this week. As a matter of fact, they requested additional information. We've handed that over to them. We have moved to rectify all the issues that we found in place with the hurricane shelter. Those files are also in the hands of the police, and they'll determine whether it needs to be looked at closer or if there needs to be charges brought. But we've turned over all information to the police.
Chairman Storr expects to be announcing a public-private partnership that he says will lead to more rental home assistance for impacted residents on Grand Bahama and Abaco in short order. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corval Pyfrom. Corval Pyfrom.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makisha. Partly cloudy skies this evening. Temperature 81 degrees, relative humidity at 69%. We have northeast winds at 16 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,016.7 millibars. That's 30.04 inches. And your temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We protected you. 78 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Green Torquay and Abaco, Marsh Abaco at 77 degrees. Berry Island, 79, 82 degrees in Bimini, 81 in Kemps Base on Andros, 80 degrees in Rumkey. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. For all areas tonight, right through Friday, those winds are going to be northeast to east, very strong at 20 to 25 knots, gusting up to 35 knots at times. Wave height 7 to 9 feet. They will be locally higher in gusts. Low tide that will occur at 1 minute past midnight. high tide. That will take place at 6:12 tomorrow morning. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Want to have your voice heard? Send your letters to the editor to digitalmedia@znsbahamas.com. Share your thoughts on current events or positive stories within your community. That's digitalmedia@znsbahamas.com. We want to hear from you.
The savings you really need are found at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. So cheesy macaroni and cheese, 7 1/4 ounce, 89 cents. Sea bass chunk tuna, 5 ounces, 99 cents. Whole watermelons, $6.99 each. Chicken leg quarters, 10-pound bag, 99 cents per pound. Super Value Protein Gas, 8 ounce, $1.99. October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Together, we can make a difference. Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Hey, Mom, can you look after Kaylee?
Sorry, I'll be out for a while doing my home and car insurance.
What? You know there's a newer way, right?
A new way?
Where have you been? Look, go to newerinsurance.com, log in, get your quote, buy your insurance, done. You can even use it to manage a claim.
Oh? By the way, it's not newer. It's NUA. Where's she been?
Do it anyway with NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
ZNS Total Sports brought to you by Sans Beer, who reminds you to recycle your beer bottles for cash in Nassau, Grand Bahama, and now Abaco and Eleuthera. Well, welcome to your ZNS Total Sports Check on a Wednesday, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. But sloop sailing fans are gearing up for the annual Best of the Best Regatta. That's set to begin at the end of this month. Charles Fisher has the details.
November 30th through December 3rd, the very best in Bahamian culture will be showcased not only on the seas, but on the shoreline. Over 200 sailors all vying to be known as the best of the best.
For the largest regatta purses in Bahamian sloop sailing history. From Class A, B, C, and D will be boats representing almost every island. From Long Island, Exuma, Acklands, Ragged Island, Cat Island, and Marijuana, all of your fan favorites will be present. Additionally, there will be an exciting junior sailors regatta for our young sailors whose races are fast becoming the must-watch of the regattas.
Minister responsible for sailing, the Minister of Works and Family Island Affairs, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, indicating that this year's event will be bigger and better, attracting a larger audience.
As we will bring you closer than ever to the intention of the races. All of the action will be live streamed around the world. Large television screens will also be on the grounds at Montague foreshore with the live commentary so viewers on all the thrills on the water. There will also be exciting activities on the shore as well. Some of the top Bahamian artists will be on hand to perform their hits, and there will be board games for adults and kids, fun competitions, great giveaways, and surprises. As always, food vendors will be serving up their delights for all to enjoy.
Planning ahead for this year's regatta will make for smooth sailing.
We start planning for the regatta as soon as that one is over. We start planning for the next year. So all the plans are already in train, and we anticipate that this would be, the team has put a lot of work and dedication into ensuring that this experience encompasses not only what happens on the water, but also on the land.
All class sloops eligible to participate. Cindy Gay, head of the regatta desk.
The best of the best is it's open for racing from Thursday to Saturday. And the overall winners, the top, based on the number of boats, we're going to select the third of each class, and they will participate on Sunday to be named the best of the best in each class.
4 days of vibrant cultural experience. Get ready for the best of the best. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Charles Fisher.
All right, thanks, Fisher. More from the World Relay slated for next year at the Thomas A. Robinson Stadium. Coordinator David Charlton speaking on the athletes' availability for the event.
We've got verbal commitment from a number of athletes, but what we want to do is have everything done in writing. It's almost like a contract agreement, like a contract agreement. So we're going to write to the athletes, explain to them what it is that the committee has been is all about, who is comprised of, their responsibility, and also ask them for their commitment to be available for the relay. We thought best to do it this way. That way we can ensure that we have all of our ducks lined up rather than waiting until the last minute to find out if an athlete is available.
Now, thoughts also given on the holding of training camp for those athletes that are going to be selected.
One of the major duty of this committee, bringing the athletes together, especially the 4x1 team, having them gel together, having them execute the baton, because if you can't, no matter what speed you have on paper, if you can't move that baton around the track, then you're out of it. One of the things that I'd like to note that you have countries like Japan and China, they don't have the greatest sprinters, but you'll always find them in the finals at the Olympics. Why? Because they can move that baton around the track.
Sports Minister, the Honorable Mario Boleg, and the government working on a deal to have the World Relays permanently here in the country.
Frankly, it is this administration and the government intention is to try and get multiple years deal with World Relays to host this event. But of course, we got to take it one step at a time. We are like a baby. We had it, and we didn't have it in a while. Now it's back home. So we want to make sure that we do and take the necessary steps in order that we take it to another level so that World Relays understand this is the home, the birth of it, and this is where it belongs. So we just don't want to take that lightly, even though we're about to host it. But it's our intent that we put something in place that it can remain here.
And speaking of the Bahamas, well, we were announced as the official destination partner of University of Miami Athletics. The multi-year partnership expected to play a major role in the country's Sports in Paradise initiative.
This partnership is significant for Bahamas tourism. Miami is our neighbor. It is the gateway to the Bahamas and the Caribbean region. Our biggest airline partners frequent Miami as a hub. It's really the closest location to our destination, and it will help us to feed traffic from the rest of Florida to the Bahamas.
And the New Providence Softball Association scores in from last night. Games at the Blue Hills playing fields. In the feature contest, Cybertech Blue Marlins, they got a 6-strikeout performance from Thomas Davis on the mound, beating the Chances Mighty Mitts 14-4. Stephen Russell was 2 for 3 in this one. He had 5 RBIs and a home run. Cale Carey was the losing pitcher. In the ladies' opener, the Black Scorpions jumping out to a 6-0 lead in the first inning before holding on to beat the UB Mingos 9-8. Deontay Colbert was the winning pitcher over Brianna Heald. And that's it. Your check on sports for you here on this Wednesday. We do have that final weather outlook coming up right after this. ZNS Total Sports brought to you by Sands Beer, who reminds you to recycle your beer bottles for cash in Nassau, Grand Bahama, and now Abaco and Eleuthera.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Have you ever purchased a defective item and was denied an exchange or cash refund? Contact the Consumer Protection Commission at 393-7795-8 or our 24-hour complaints hotline at 357-7898 and let us help your voice be heard.
Hey, get up, stand up for your right.
First we plan, then we innovate, then we build. At Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we are committed to quality, to safety, and to service. We know that the road you take is just as important as your final destination. At Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, it is our job to make sure the road and the ride are as smooth as possible. From striping roads to building them. We are the right choice, the trusted choice, the only choice to help you build your tomorrow.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, Tommy now some 510 miles to the southeast of Bermuda, moving towards the northeast at 14 miles per hour, but there will be a shift. Tommy will turn more towards the north by tomorrow and then eventually towards the northwest. And on that track, that should take it very close to Bermuda sometime during the weekend or early part of next week. And we expect some weakening to take place over the next couple of days. But right now, Tommy's packing winds of 100 miles per hour. And as we said, some weakening is anticipated over the next couple of days. Satellite pictures showing high pressure in control of our weather. Very strong winds will continue throughout the week and into the early part of next week. So boaters, we're simply asking you to simply remain in port over the next several days. Our forecast for tonight, partly cloudy, windy with a couple of passing showers, particularly during the early part of the night with a low temperature around 75 degrees. And tomorrow, partly sunny once again, very breezy with a couple of showers, and that's primarily because of the mixing that is taking place because of the very strong winds. 83 degrees will be your high temperature tomorrow. Extended weather forecast looking like this. Those off and on passing showers will continue right into the weekend, but come Sunday, we'll see an increase in those showers becoming more scattered with thunderstorms developing right into Monday, and some of those thunderstorms could be heavy at times as well. Temperature-wise, we're going to keep you into the low 80s right through the period, and that's because of those strong winds, so some rather mild conditions over the next several days, so do enjoy. Makishla.
Well, thanks, Basil. And before we leave, high school students recently got a glimpse of the careers that they can pursue in the orange economy at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture's first Cultural Career Expo at the Kendall G.L. Isaacs Gymnasium. Director of Culture, Derica Delaveau Grant, says the expos are geared toward 10th to 11th to 12th graders.
The field is so wide, there's so many things that they could be a part of. So not necessarily that if they don't want to be a part of the stage, but there's other jobs that in the industry that they can make money from. So consider it as a career, because it is, and whenever you turn on the radio, the musician that you hear is not only the singer, it's the person who is producing the song, the writer who wrote the song. When you watch TV, it's the actors, and in just a TV show is so many different professionals: the actor, the writer, the writers, the cameraman. It's so many different areas in the arts that we're looking for. The latest dance, those persons, it came from somewhere.
Undersecretary in the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, Montez Williams, is encouraging parents to guide their children towards a career in the arts. As he says, the Bahamas could have another Sir Sidney Poitier, but those talents have to be nurtured first.
Well, we're hoping to ignite a fire. There are so many talented young Bahamians. In fact, many non-Bahamians have exclaimed how they find the Bahamas chock full of talent. And so we're hoping to ignite a fire in the young people to realize that there are more job opportunities than they think in the orange economy. Music and dance and all facets, fashion, literary writing, to explore careers in those fields.
Well, time now for the poll question, and this week we're asking, does cold weather equate to Christmas? And is October too early to decorate for the holidays? You can chime in on our social media handles, ZNS Bahamas 242 on X and the ZNS Network on Facebook. And that does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.